The fourth generation of Focusrite Scarlett audio interfaces is here, delivering significant performance improvements and new DSP-driven features. We're going to compare the upgraded specifications against the third generation 2i2, review the new features, assess what's missing, and discuss if it's worth upgrading to the Gen 4. Hi, I'm Headphone. Welcome to the channel. So I had 4 issues with the third generation Scarlett. It had a weak headphone amplifier, the conversion wasn't great, which affected the sound, I don't like direct monitoring, and the preamps didn't quite offer enough gain to support gain-hungry dynamic microphones. Focusrite have addressed some of these issues, so let's compare the two models. The Scarlett Gen 4 is now made from recycled aluminium and plastics, shipping in reduced, environmentally friendly packaging. It remains bus powered but can also be mains powered with an additional USB-C power port, enabling you to record directly to any iOS device. Typically, you'd need an expensive iPad Pro to power audio interfaces, but this additional power port means you can record to any iOS device. The new model hosts DSP, which facilitates a channel select button to make space for a variety of new DSP-powered features accessible on the front panel. This can be used for toggling in between input channels to select phantom power, the high Z input, the original air mode, a new version of air mode, auto gain, and input gain safe mode. Scarlett's new dynamic gain halo metering system has evolved from the Gen 3 to display both the preamp gain filling up the halo the more you add gain and your input level at the same time, maintaining the same traffic light system: green for good signal, amber for hot, and red for clipping. On screen now you can see a specification chart which is available to download for free from my website. The dynamic range on the mic and line inputs has increased by 5 decibels, giving us more headroom before clipping. The gain range has been increased by 13 decibels to 69 on the mic ins, whilst retaining a very low noise floor. Now, all preamps introduce circuit noise to the top end of their gain range, usually the last 10 or so percent, rendering this area of the gain range largely unusable because it gets too noisy. This applies to all preamps, not just budget-friendly ones. So this increased gain range is a massive improvement for this interface and very much makes it SM7B friendly. Before we listen to the new Gen 4 preamps, here is my voice through the Gen 3 Scarlett preamps, and here you can see its EQ linearity or frequency response. Here is my voice with the Gen 3 Air mode. The EQ linearity of the newly designed preamps is virtually flat, capturing 20 to 20 kHz. The preamps can be controlled remotely via the Focusrite Control 2 desktop application supplied with the interface, which is also where we set the audio sample rate. For your reference, I'm recording this segment with a Shure SM7B, and there is plenty of preamp headroom available. Air mode is the built-in analog circuit we know, imposing a top-end EQ lift and harmonics to the audio, replicating the popular sound of Focusrite's flagship ISA preamps, resulting in a brighter, more forward sound, arguably better suited to the Shure SM7B. As well as offering more input gain, the newly designed Gen 4 preamps also incorporate a number of new DSP-based features, including drive mode, which is a harmonic processor, adding further harmonics to the signal. Which model sounds better to you? Can you hear a difference between the two? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. To record the Gen 4 audio examples there, I used the new auto gain feature, which automatically detects the input signal and adjusts the input gain for you, targeting an average signal level of -18 RMS and a peak level of -12, which is perfect for recording. This auto gain function makes accurate and consistent gain staging really easy. I'll be demonstrating how to use this and set this up properly in a subsequent video coming soon. As if auto gain wasn't enough for foolproof recording, Focusrite have introduced safe mode, which digitally limits your input level by reducing the input gain when the signal gets too hot to avoid clipping and ruining that perfect take. In theory, this sounds ideal, but in practice, Although it genuinely does stop your audio from ever going over 0 decibels at full scale in your DAW, I found it has a minimal operating window before the input gain adjustments are clearly audible. If abused, it causes sudden drops in amplitude, which sounds like a ducking is occurring, resulting in uneven audio. Now, safe mode is a nice idea and worth having in place as a backup, but I'd rather suggest you trust the auto gain, keep an eye on your input level when you record, and adjust when necessary. Oh, to purchase this interface, by the way, and in fact any of your home studio gear, using the affiliate links in the description below is a really great way to support the channel if you're finding value in this video. The quality of the monitor outputs, headphone amplifier, and indeed the audio you record are highly dependent on the quality of the audio to digital and the digital to audio conversion your interface can provide. The converters on the Gen 3 cause the device to sound two-dimensional and smeared. These outdated converters have been replaced with Focusrite's flagship professional studio-grade redneck converters, and the benefits are immediately apparent. Both the monitor outputs and the headphone amplifier benefit from increased low-end bass extension, top-end spaciousness, clarity all round, and improved depth of sound, resulting in a bigger, fuller sound with a more stable foundation. And also, the extended dynamic range on both outputs provides more headroom before digital distortion creeps into the playback. The headphone amplifier has been upgraded with a new custom design, and combined with the upgraded converters, delivers a noticeably improved performance for both high and low impedance headphones. Sonically speaking, however, the output volume is virtually the same. And this for me is a problem and brings us to direct monitoring. Direct monitoring enables you to monitor your direct input channels through your headphones in either mono or stereo in real time with no latency. Now, for recording acoustic guitars and vocals, this sounds perfect, right? Well, it is good, but it is limited in my opinion. Your input monitor level is dictated by the combination of your input gain and headphone output level. Assuming you use auto gain to set safe input levels, the headphone output, in my opinion, is then not loud enough to create an enjoyable recording experience, even when cranked to the maximum. To demonstrate this, I tested this using the auto gain feature to set my input level to the correct level, and I could hear as much of my voice in the room bleeding into my headphones as I could my voice coming through the headphones. For me, this just isn't a loud enough headphone output. Now, another flaw with direct monitoring is that when you want to balance playback audio from your DAW or recording session with your input monitor level, then you need to blend this in using your DAW stereo bus output fader. I would prefer an onboard way of doing this, such as an input to DAW blend dial, as found on the M-Audio 192 and SSL2 interfaces. Now, these interfaces also have considerably louder headphone amplifiers, which helps. If you want to record and monitor electric guitars through amplifier simulations, you'll still need to run your audio in and out through your computer, incurring round-trip latency. This chart compares the round-trip latency of comparable audio interfaces and is also available on my website. As you can see, in comparison, the Motu M series far outweighs any interface in this department, but the Scarlett Gen 4 is still relatively competitive. Hey, if you're finding this video useful, please consider giving a super thanks and subscribe for regular home studio content. So additional features on the Gen 4 includes loopback channels, which are listed as inputs 3 and 4 in your DAW. Upon installation, Focusrite's Easy Start Quick tool guides users through the setup process, including how to set recording in the supplied DAWs, Ableton Live, and 3 months access to Pro Tools Artist with a heavy discount to subscription after that. As with all Scarlett interfaces, a comprehensive bundle of software is also included, including Focusrite's Red EQ and compression plugins, a Brainworks ISA channel strip, Antares Auto-Tune, Softube amp simulations, addictive keys and addictive drums, and 5 masters on Lander, and a 2-month subscription to Lander for unlimited mastering. So, What's missing, and is it worth the upgrade? I think Focusrite have done a great job implementing necessary improvements to the Scarlett range, bringing it back to the forefront of the budget-friendly audio interface. However, I do feel they haven't quite taken the opportunity to fully future-proof themselves against other brand developments, of which there have been many in the last 3 or 4 years. I feel the Scarlett is still held back by a weak headphone amplifier, although credit where it's due, it does sound much better. It just isn't loud enough still for me, in my opinion. I think a monitor mute button and an input to DAW blend dial, as previously discussed, would have been nice additions to this range, and it would be nice if the loopback channels were labelled as such and not just inputs 3 and 4. The limitations in monitoring control on the Scarlett for me gives wings to the Audient ID series, which have virtual channels for more advanced monitor mixing, not to mention a second headphone output, which is really useful. Maybe Focusrite missed a trick there as well. If you're considering upgrading from the Gen 3 to the Gen 4, I would definitely suggest considering it. The conversion and resulting sound is considerably better. So does this new generation of Scarlett interface fall short or exceed your expectations? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I've been Ed Thorne. Check out my Mixing Music podcast in the description as well. It's been emotional. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.